Recession. It's a word that has been thrown around a lot over the last few years.
More voices saying a recession.
A recession.
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 To recession.
To recession.
To a recession.
Recession, recession, recession.
She said it 3 times. Cloudboard News Side's Keely Arthur has been asking the experts if and when a recession could happen, and she joins us live in the studio. Keely, should we be concerned with their answers?
I would say aware is the best answer right now for that question, Gerald. Well, 5 on Your Side has checked in with local and national economists for 2 years now to help local families get ahead of any economic turmoil. Now, 5 out of 7 economists tell us they believe there is at least a 50% chance of a recession happening next year. Now, that is a much gloomier outlook than last year when we asked the same experts the very same questions. Now, I spoke to one expert earlier this month about what's changed.
Will there be a recession? Ask Google, ask people.
50-50 chance.
And you'll get a mix of answers.
I believe so.
Yeah, in this next couple of years. Yeah.
I hope maybe we can not hit it, but it's coming soon, I think. Very soon.
Ask Dr. Charles Abeziaco, and like most economists, he'll be reluctant.
A lot of variables you cannot control.
But he'll give you an answer. We asked the same of him last year, and he said this about the end of 2022.
I suspect that by the end of next year, let me just extend a little bit, that we're going to see a very stable economy coming up.
Out of the economists we spoke to, he was right on the money.
We put you on the spot. You delivered.
This time, though, his positive forecast has changed.
It's going to happen at a point.
That point, he believes, the last half of 2024. He says with unemployment low, workers can demand higher wages, but wages isn't the only thing costing businesses more.
Wage up, cost up, prices up.
Combine that with global variables like sanctions against China, and Abeziaco tells us the cost of doing business will skyrocket.
We may have an intensity of supply shock, meaning our producers in the United States may have shortages of input products.
A shortage of input products, think fuel, materials, buildings, equipment, combined with those high wages will trigger layoffs.
And that is going to hit our consumer confidence directly.
Consumer spending makes up nearly 68% of the GDP, the major indicator of economic stability. If consumer spending shrinks, so will the GDP.
Last year, the GDP contracted, unemployment was steady. If the GDP contracts next year, first 2 quarters, and unemployment shifts up, we're going to likely see a shallow recession in the 3rd quarter.
A shallow recession, meaning not as severe as the ones we've weathered in the past. And if you look at it from Abeziaco's perspective, it's not all negative.
As bad as it sounds, there may be an opportunity to buy those stocks that you could not afford earlier.
And credit card debt surpassed more than $1 trillion. That shows that people are spending way beyond their means. Do not do that. Make a budget, get a true understanding of how much money you actually have before going into the red, and continue to put money into your savings.
Any of the economists have a more optimistic look this year than they had last year?
Yes, Michael Walden, who is someone who is very friendly at WRAL. He formerly worked at NC State. He's a professor emeritus. He said that it was about 55% likely of a recession last year. Now he's thinking 45%. He really believes that we're going to have that soft landing that the Federal Reserve wants to achieve.
Maybe he'll be down to 35% by January 1.
I hope so.
All right. Thanks, Keely.